ask Les Pinter to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Les?
Thank you, Mayor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to ask Councilman Curran to please lead us in prayer. Councilman? You've always got something good ready to say.
Almighty God, on this evening where we are given the future figures for the city of Danbury, may we look at them wisely and rule on them wisely. Amen.
Thank you, Councilman. Fine job. And will the clerk please call the roll?
McMahon. Negoshet. Johnson. Trombetta. Calidrino. Perkins. Visconti. Chianese. Esposito. Sadi. Cabo. Rotello. Days. Teicholz. Arcanti. Curry. Knapp. Levy. Riley. Seabury. Stanley.
There being 18 present and 3 absent, let the record reflect that Councilwoman McMahon is at a family event. Councilman Trombetta, I believe, is out of state, and Councilman Sadi is on military service at this time. At this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to accept the call of the special meeting. Mr. President.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we respond to the call for the special meeting tonight. Second.
Motion made and seconded by Councilman Negoshet. Any discussion? Seeing none, then I'll try your minds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, signify by saying nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. The first 30 minutes of each council meeting are reserved for public speaking. I would ask that any member of the public that wishes to address the council this evening, please do so about an item that is specifically on the agenda, and they must be a resident and/or taxpayer in the city of Danbury. With that, is there anybody who wishes to address the council this evening? Just name and address for the record.
Reed Mitchell, property owner, 69 Main Street. Reference item 7, the fire lanes. Just personal experience several years ago when Food Bag was doing some work on their property, they painted over the fire lane. I came down to ask about that, and it seemed like there was no paper trail for the city to know whether there was a fire lane there or not. So I would just say, somewhere in this process, we need a database so people can't arbitrarily remove their fire lanes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other member of the public wish to address the council this evening? Any other member of the public? Mr. Basso.
Pauline Basso, 8 Hoyt Street, Danbury. I'm here to speak on the budget, on the grants. Last year, we did not pay the money out for the Hispanic Center. I understand they're coming back. I didn't hear any complaining last year at all that they were short money. And I'm hoping that you're going to think about this again, because I don't think that they need the money. They have a building over there. They get state money. They get federal money. They should be making money on their own, which I know they are. I have one of my friends who was one of the starters of the Hispanic Center, and he and his friends opened and started the Hispanic Center for free. They did not take any money out of there. They gave their time because the Hispanic people needed this to be done. Now they have 2 buildings, and I think we should not pay their mortgage like we didn't do last year, and I think that's another thing. The second thing I was going to talk about in grants is we give to one of the churches. Last year they spent, they bought 2 full-page ads and a half a page big ad. And they put the ads in the paper telling the Common Council, do not pass the ice. Now, I don't think that they need this kind of money from the city of Danbury, and then they're going to spend it on advertisement to say, to have us stop something that's going to be a big help to the city of Danbury. The third thing I would like to say, and this is on the budget, okay? I do a lot of talking since I haven't been on the council. I think it's a shame. I have been listening to and talking to a lot of people. I did not realize that the city of Danbury is, the police department is probably the lowest paid in the whole state of Connecticut. And I think something, no, Mr. Mayor? This is what I had heard.
We've done very well in our recent contract negotiations.
Well, I'm hoping that they're up with the other ones there, and I think that they do a fantastic job, and I really hope, you know, I love the guys dearly, and I'm hoping that we could, you know, we do need a lot more people. We're building that beautiful new police department, and that's all I want to say. Thanks, guys, and do a good job.
Any further? Hernandez, and then Mrs. Morris. Anybody else? Just name and address.
Wilson Hernandez, 71 Davis Street. Mr. Mayor, council members. For many years, the city of Danbury has funded the Caregivers Council Domestic Violence Prevention Program. This is the only program in Greater Danbury that deals with perpetrators who have been arrested for domestic violence. Last year, the program had over 2,000 client contacts, although 450 people were found to be in need of special treatment. Of the 450 people helped, 99% did not have another arrest. Clearly, the program works. With few arrests, the program extends benefits to the Danbury and elsewhere to the Danbury Hospital. This outstanding program is operated by ARC, the Association of Religious Community. I respectfully ask you to keep this funding in the budget. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Marciano.
Good evening, Mayor Boughton, and members of the Common Council. My name is Elise Marciano. I live at 179 Longridge Road, Danbury. I wish to address the new budget for running the city of Danbury. Every tax-paying family in Danbury helps pay for the services provided by the city, and we all know there are fixed expenses that have to be paid, just like we have in our homes. We also know these expenses are rising and need to be addressed. At home, we deal with the high price of energy by turning down our thermostats, turning off unneeded lights, and bundling our errands to save gas. We also shop around to get better prices for the things we need to buy or simply do without them. At the end of the month, we hope to break even. I am asking you to look at this new budget as you would your own personal expenses and income. There have been many ways introduced by Mayor Boughton in the past to cut expenses. We applaud these savings. Now we ask that you look again to see what changes can be made to give the same services for the same dollars. A look at city vehicles is one place that savings may be made. Is it necessary for a fire truck to arrive at every 911 emergency not involving an accident or a vehicle? Can another small vehicle provide the same service? Are city automobiles used only for city business? Gas is at an all-time high, and we are told to expect $4 per gallon soon. It is time to conserve fuel and cut back on vehicle use. The grant section of the budget needs to be scrutinized very carefully for need of taxpayer dollars. Duplication of services provided to people who live in surrounding towns, and if it is in the best interest of all the people. It is time to suggest other types of funding for these agencies, such as applying to thousands of foundations who provide grant money to worthy causes. These organizations can also ask that their clients give back in time or money where possible. While we are not questioning the need for some of these services, we are asking them to be as efficient as possible and be creative and diligent about funding their work. Volunteers can provide services while greatly reducing costs. In our present age of technology, an investment in technology can be turned into a substantial savings in the long run. Finally, are there other ways to fund projects such as the Richter House? I am aware that some funding is available from the state, but this is still our tax money. Is it possible to interest businesses to donate money, materials, or labor in exchange for some type of recognition? On behalf of many taxpayers in Danbury, I ask that you look at many items in the budget to see if you can creatively deliver the goods before resorting to raising new taxes. Remember, this is a problem confronting all families, including retired people living on fixed incomes who have to live under the same increased cost of living. Taxes don't have to be raised too. Thank you.
Any other member of the public wish to address the council this evening? Mrs. Wallace? Excuse me, Mrs. Wallace.
Hi, I'm Lynn Waller, 83 Highland Avenue in Danbury. I've been attending a lot of the charter meetings, and I know what we're doing here is perfectly legal, and I'm not questioning that. I am just concerned I've never seen anyone take out $2.5 million worth of money without going to a referendum. And if you add up all these ordinances, that's approximately what it's coming to. So I'm very disappointed that we have to resort to this. I'm not sure why. But with the first 4 or 5 things here, the second through 6 is an ordinance appropriating $500,000 for different things. And most of that would have gone to referendum, I'm sure. And as has always, they've always passed in the past. I'm not sure why we're doing it this way. But I'm not saying it's illegal. I know it isn't illegal. But I'm just very concerned that this is what we do. We need to cap this in the future. But I'm disappointed, and I wanted to say that. Thank you. And I'm one of the families that's going to have trouble making payments. When my assessment went up $100,000, the appeal process gave me absolutely nothing. And I'm praying that your mill rate came down. Thank you.
Any other people want to address the council? So Callahan.
Good evening. I'd just like to address quickly if there's any money, this is the budget going toward the...
Name and address.
Oh, Gerardo Callahan, 136 Pembroke Road, Unit 43, Denver. Just want to say that if any money is going, there's not a legitimate job of the government to be giving money to agencies like the Hispanic Center or things like that. Certainly, it's not right to do that in the first place. They give it to any organization, but to give it to that organization, we're not giving it to, whether it's the Italian American Club or the Irish Club or any other club, is what I would say. That's singling it out and taking our taxpayer money. But moreover, we shouldn't be giving money when people are about to go bankrupt here, to be giving taxpayer money to organizations that certainly can take care of themselves. That's all I would like to say. Thank you.
Any other members of the public wish to address the council this evening? Seeing none, then we'll move on with the scheduled meeting that you see here. The council is certainly encouraged to get a better view of the screen. If they want to move down, we've reserved some seats for you. You certainly don't have to do that, but it's just an option, and I'll give you a few minutes to get situated. way to get everybody quiet, huh? Good evening. Mr. President, honorable leaders and members of the Common Council, Madam Clerk, city officials, department directors, employees, and my fellow Danburyans. In accordance with my duties as mayor and those prescribed by the charter of the city of Danbury, I respectfully present the proposed operating budget and the comprehensive capital improvement plan for the fiscal year 2008-2009. Before I begin the budget details, let me just say thank you to the legislative body of our city, the Common Council. I also want to say thank you to its leadership. Our council spends hours working on the city's business in a voluntary capacity, and in the coming month they will be giving up their evenings and weekends to deliberate over this body of work. For their dedication and commitment, we should all be thankful. Of course, our thank yous would not be possible without recognizing our Director of Finance, David St. Hilaire, and his team, Deputy Director of Finance Dan Garrett, and Assistant Judy Barris. These individuals have given up nights and weekends to review our work, and they spend countless hours working on our budget and many hours preparing the booklet that you received tonight. My friends, as in the past, Danbury stands on strong financial footing. Danbury continues to maintain the highest credit rating and the highest bond rating in the history of our city. We continue to have one of the lowest effective property tax rates in the state. And recently, we've seen a significant drop in the overall poverty rate, and we've seen a significant increase in personal income. Unemployment remains at historical lows. However, we are facing several challenges as we enter into the next fiscal year. The national housing crisis and the subsequent economic turmoil has created pressures on our revenue streams that we have not seen since the early 1990s. Building permit revenue is off some $2 million. Real estate conveyance fees are down dramatically. Grand list growth has slowed, and our last payment from the reserve was made this year. On top of that, we have seen an unprecedented increase in fuel, heating oil, energy, and general operating expenses and overhead. All told, we are challenged by a multi-million-dollar loss of revenues and an increase in operating expenses for the 2008-2009 budget year. Finally, we are once again shortchanged by the state of Connecticut in almost every aspect of governmental operations. In particular, school funding increases have been reduced to almost nothing. And, incredibly, we continue to be the recipient of unfunded state mandates that, if passed this legislative session, could have a devastating impact on our taxpayers. To mitigate the impact of the worsening economy and its impact on our revenues, I've taken several proactive steps, which I've announced this morning to our staff. Specifically, I've appointed an internal financial review team to conduct a business audit of every aspect of our 32 departments. This team will report to me and to the Director of Finance not later than 120 days after the start of their work. They're charged with me to review every aspect of our financial practices at the departmental level. They'll look for potential savings through reorganization and through economies of scale. Since the Board of Education receives a lion's share of city funding, I've asked the superintendent and the Director of Finance for the public schools to allow our financial review team access to their operations as well. In addition, we'll be conducting a complete review of our employee vehicle use policy and our employee cell phone policy. Effective April 15th, I've implemented a hiring freeze of all new full-time employees with the exception of emergency personnel. This hiring freeze will extend into the new fiscal year. And for this fiscal year, all spending is frozen at the departmental level. While I'm not recommending layoffs at this time, we will look to reduce our full-time workforce through attrition by approximately 10% in the coming year. As each day reveals new challenges with the national economy, we will continue to evaluate the priorities as outlined in our spending plan, and we will look for opportunities to cut operational costs when appropriate. We also reserve the right to revisit our budget throughout the year and implement any recommendations that the internal financial review team deems appropriate. I'm asking each department as well as the Board of Education to understand that we are in unsettled economic times and that we need to work together to address revenue shortfalls in the future. Our challenge next fiscal year is simple. Our challenge is not to do more with more, but to do more with less. But let's make no mistake. Danbury continues to be an economic engine for the state and for the nation. While I'm concerned about the immediate future, I'm excited and optimistic about the potential we have in the future for economic growth here in Danbury. We will continue to maintain one of the lowest unemployment rates in the nation. And as I speak tonight, our Director of Economic Development and myself are currently in negotiations with several large and medium-sized businesses that wish to locate here in Danbury. This is good news for our local economy, and it's even better news for our taxpayers. Danbury has also become a popular place for film production companies to set up shop and use our city for filming. The film industry has injected much needed dollars into our economy, and it's increased our city's visibility. Next month, we'll host the Connecticut Film Festival. I've asked our Director of Economic Development to investigate the possibility of setting up a facility that can be rented for film production and post-production, much like we just recently rented the Emmanuel Lutheran School for. One idea shared by both Wayne Shepherd and Rick Palanza would be to use the post office building on Main Street as a film production center. This would enable the film industry to have a rentable area for offices and production, and we'd be able to reuse the building to help grow an industry that is in its infancy here in the city of Danbury. Over the coming months, I'll be approaching the council about this initiative as well as others that will continue to inject energy and dollars into our local economy. Our mission statement is clear, and the 2008-2009 budget reflects the goals and objectives set in our mission statement. The City of Danbury's mission is to ensure a superior quality of life for its citizens by providing the most cost-effective municipal services while preserving the cultural, historical, and natural resources of our city. We are committed to working with citizens to enhance Danbury's position as a premier place to live, work, and raise a family in a traditional yet progressive community. Last year's budget reflected our core mission. In addition, each of our departments was asked to develop their own mission statement, which you'll find in your book, that connects back to the city statement. In this way, our mission is clear, and the flow of communication down to our departments is seamless. Our 2008-2009 budget reflects careful planning and an eye towards the future. Most importantly, it funds our basic services without significant cuts. In this document, we are advocating that we maintain our services, but given the economic climate, we are deferring some expenditures and expansion of departments until the current economic turmoil passes. Most important to our mission statement and quality of life in the city of Danbury is the delivery of public safety services. The spending plan for the 2008-2009 fiscal year continues our commitment to public safety. In September of 2007, we dedicated our new fire station, Engine 26. The funding for our fire department includes the additional staffing and also includes full-year funding for the 4 lieutenants. For the 4 lieutenants that lead the operations of the station. On August 7, 2007, we broke ground on the new police station. I'm proud to report that the building is on schedule, and actually it's ahead of schedule, and it's on budget. This past Friday, we completed the last of the steel erection, and we are gearing up for the move to the new station at some point in the fall of 2009. Through our capital budget, we will fund replacement vehicles for patrol as well as command staff. We'll also enhance technology with work on our IT infrastructure. This past year, we completed negotiations with the police union and working within Chief Baker's Vision 2009 plan. We put more officers on the street. The result, as all of you have seen, has been a dramatic increase in enforcement actions, as well as many proactive police programs and proactive enforcement. The 2008-2009 budget continues to fund those changes and those enforcement actions. Education spending continues to be one of the main drivers in our budget. Our Board of Education has asked for a 7.83% increase, or an additional $8.3 million. Clearly, in this economic climate, this is a request that is beyond the reach of our taxpayers. And nor is it fair to the rest of the city departments who are looking to economize. We cannot sacrifice needed services in other areas in order to fully fund the request. The crisis in education funding across the state is a direct reflection of the state of Connecticut's failure to fund our public schools to an adequate level. This year, I'm proposing an increase of 5.5%, or $5.8 million. Even at this rate of increase, it will be difficult for the city to meet this obligation if a national recession were to continue to develop. And while funding is tight on the operational side, we are proposing a number of repairs to our facilities in the school capital improvement plan, as well as technology repairs and replacement in the school technology bond. Indeed, Danbury's children are poised for academic success with new facilities. We're thankful to our taxpayers who understand the economic benefit of quality schools and an educated workforce. This year does mark a change in the way we approach our city's infrastructure and our capital projects. For many years, the city has only bonded $500,000 for ongoing capital improvements and long-term maintenance needs. The result has been that we have public buildings and roads and bridges that are in disrepair, and given the long list of projects on our capital improvement plan, they will never get addressed until it becomes an absolute emergency. Working on the infrastructure during the crisis is not good public policy, and often results in delay, expenses, and poor craftsmanship. During the charter review process, I asked that we increase our borrowing limit to $2 million. The Charter Revision Commission will be recommending an increase in the borrowing limit to $2.5 million. That is the amount that I'm requesting to borrow this year, consistent with the recommendations of the Charter Revision Commission. This year, our CIP, or Capital Improvement Plan, is proactive. It gets a start on the long list of improvements that our city has deferred for far too long. Some examples of work that will be completed will be to weather tight the Richter House, to replace the roof at the Park Avenue School, to replace and upgrade technology at Danbury High School, to purchase much-needed public safety equipment, to conduct a phosphorus study required by the DEP on our wastewater treatment plant, and for drainage improvements, including the East Ditch. And I'm upset that Margaret's not here tonight, but there she is. Okay, including the East Ditch. Let me just take a moment and reflect on the status of Richter House. It's been a much discussion recently. Our authorities embarked on a long-term planning process that's been funded by this council. My recommended allocation will only weather tight the building. Long-term renovations, and more importantly, the future of Richter House, must be decided by the authority. They are being charged with that responsibility. That use must be consistent with the master plan that's being developed. While these projects are not necessarily in front of our residents every day, they are part of the nuts and bolts of our infrastructure, and too often become ignored. Our sewer and water funds continue to see positive cash positions. This year, I'm once again proposing that there be no increases in rates for either the sewer fund or the water fund. And I'm also proposing no connection fee increases or changes to the connection fee structure. Last year, due to the increasing pressure on our seniors relating to the rate increases in electricity and to escalating costs of heating and cooling their homes, I proposed a tax credit to be used as energy assistance for our seniors. The new program raised the tax credit available for seniors from $250 for single residents and $350 for married couples. In addition, the income level for qualification has been raised from $51,500 for single residents to $58,000 for married residents. The proposal was fiscally responsible and extremely popular. It provided real relief for those seniors who have had to make a decision between heating their homes and buying their groceries. This year, I'm proposing expansion of a little-used program put in place several years ago called the Senior Property Tax Deferral Program. This program allows seniors to defer 15% of their taxes for a period of time. Unfortunately, not many seniors have taken advantage of it. And after discussing the program with the Senior Advisory Council as to why so few elderly taxpayers are participating, it was recommended that we reduce the interest charged on money deferred and that we raise the income guidelines of this program. I would also recommend that instead of the 15% of the total tax owed, we allow our seniors participating in the program to defer the entire increase of their property tax for that year. This, in essence, would allow for a freeze mechanism for seniors with a much higher income guideline than that is allowed under the statutes, and not result in a loss of income to the city. And earlier this year, I announced the SAVE program. for our seniors and will allow qualifying individuals to volunteer their skills for the city while receiving a property tax break. I've appointed a committee and they will begin formulating the ordinance that creates the program. And I have a request that both of these programs be in place by July 1st. Together, these programs will allow seniors to stay in our community and receive real property tax relief, while also contributing to the betterment of our city. The 2008-2009 budget is designed to provide the same quality service that we have in the past, with a watchful eye toward spending as we enter into an unsettled economic year. This year, I'm asking our mill rate to be set at 21.35, a decrease of approximately 4%. And as mentioned, I'm recommending a 4-year phase-in of the most recent property reevaluation. At this rate, on average, approximately 60% of the homeowners of our city will see increases ranging from 0% to 6%. When factored with a reduction in the personal property and motor vehicle tax, the impact of the revaluation on the homeowners will be reduced significantly. Our spending plan calls for no increase to sewer and water rates. Our spending plan has been redesigned to project realistic revenue projections, a capital improvement plan that protects our city's assets and manages a challenging reevaluation for our residents. The 2008-2009 budget gives us a plan to continue on the path to deliver critical services, a plan that gives us clearly defined goals and a vision that all of us can be proud of. This is what our city is about and what we'll be working on to implement in the coming year. You know, over the last several months, this council has demonstrated a willingness to work together and the spirit of teamwork. There have been differences. Those differences have been based on the merits of the issue at hand. Then I'd ask that each of you approach this budget in the same fashion. My door will be open during the process, and we will gladly accept recommendations and thoughts. And we certainly want to solicit those throughout the entire month. Tonight I ask for the council's cooperation as they deliberate over the spending plan. Our finances have, frankly, never been stronger. Our outlook has never been brighter. So let's work together on a bipartisan basis to keep Danbury moving forward once again. Mr. President, with these thoughts in mind, I respectfully submit to you this budget for our city's 2008-2009 fiscal year. I want to thank you for your time and indulgence tonight. God bless America, and God bless our great city. This time we'll have a moment for the council to come back to the guys. Let's be a little busy working on some of you.
Like everything else.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue with the meeting, I just want to make 2 quick announcements. I'll appoint the committees and then we'll refer the items as we're approaching the agenda. One, Jim Walsh from the Denver Youth Services wants to remind everybody that we have a basketball tournament coming up, and for the council members who wish to participate, please do that. Of course, I don't have the date, but I think we can find that for you in our office. Jim Johnson wanted me to let everybody know that one of those protectors came from the fire marshal's office. Budget committees are as follows. So the council second page pencils out. We'll also, the city clerk will distribute this tomorrow as a reminder. They are as follows. Education budget. Chair will be Colleen Stanley. It consists of Mike Calandrino, Councilwoman Diggs, Councilman Riley, and Councilman Visconti. General Government 1. The chair will be Greg Seabury. That will consist of Councilman Arconti, Councilman Calvo, Councilman Perkins, Councilman Sadi. General Government 2. Mayor Teicholz will be chair. That will consist of Councilman Johnson, Councilman Trombetta, Councilman Curran, Councilman Lee. Grant agencies. Councilman Riley will be chair. That consists of Councilman Calvo, Councilman Knapp, Councilman Negrishet, excuse me, Councilman Negrishet going to recuse himself from that. Councilman Shanisi, and no, that's we're good. We got Calvo, Knapp, Shanisi. Don't all look down and kind of help them talk good. Councilman Seabury. Okay, so let me just review that. Grant agencies are Councilman Riley as chair, Councilman Calvo, Councilman Knapp, Councilman Seabury, and Councilman Shanisi. Health, Housing, Public Safety, and Social Services. Councilman Trombetta will be chair. Councilwoman Diggs, Councilman Knapp, Councilman McMahon, Councilman Esposito. Public Works will, Councilman Johnson will be chairman. It'll be Councilman Calandrino, Councilman Curran, Councilman Negrishet, and Councilman Rotella. I tried to accommodate everybody's request and appreciate all your indulgence on that. That should set up the budget committees. The chair people through the city clerk will notify and try to, ladies and gentlemen, if there's a date that for some reason is real problematic, we're going to try to accommodate you, but get those requests in early so the city clerk has a hard time balancing, understandably so. And at some points we're just going to have to schedule a meeting, but obviously we want to try to accommodate as best we can. Yes. The public hearing has been scheduled for the 17th. There will be no budget workshop this year, as last year's was sparsely attended, and so we think we can answer a lot of those questions through the actual budget process. I also just want to make note of that if for some reason we're not completed with our work by the May meeting, the charter's clear that we have till May 15th to adopt the council, to adopt the budget. The council can do that. And we also may want to see what the final results are at the state in terms of what some of the initiatives that they've been pushing around. They adjourn on May the 7th. So we'll keep you posted on that if we decide to do a special meeting. Mr. Curran?
Mayor, the 17th of this month is public hearing?
That's correct.
You know it's the Fireman of the Year dinner and the Policeman of the Year dinner?
We'll get back to you on the date of the public hearing at this time. Councilman Curran will be back in touch with you. Okay. Everybody got their committees? Good. Madam Clerk, item 1, please.
Ordinance and resolution. I didn't do it yet. An ordinance making appropriations for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2008 and ending June 30th, 2009, and a resolution levying the property tax for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2008 and ending June 30th, 2009.
What's your pleasure, Council? Councilman Calvo?
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to refer this to a public hearing.
Second. Seeing no objection, is so ordered. No second required unless we're going to have a vote, but thanks, Mr. Shanisi, for your help there. Appreciate that. Madam Clerk, item 2, please.
Ordinance, an ordinance appropriating $500,000 for public improvements in the 2008 and 2009 capital budget and authorizing the issuance of $500,000 bonds and bond anticipation notes of the city to meet said appropriations.
What's your pleasure, Council? Councilman Teicholz?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to refer this to a public hearing.
Motion Motion made for the public hearing, no second required. Seeing no objection, so ordered. Madam Clerk, item 3, please.
Ordinance, an ordinance appropriating $500,000 for school technology in the 2008 and 9 budget and authorizing the issuance of $500,000 bonds and bond anticipation notes of the city to meet said appropriations.
It's the pleasure of council. Councilman Calandrino.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to refer this over to public hearing.
Seeing no objection, is so ordered. Item 4, please.
Ordinance, an ordinance appropriating $497,850 for school capital improvements in the 2008 and 9 budget and authorizing the issuance of $497,850 bonds and bond anticipation notes of the city to meet said appropriations.
Pleasure, council. Councilwoman Diggs.
Thank you, Your Honor. I want to refer item number 4 to public hearing.
Seeing no objection, is so ordered.
Ordinance, an ordinance appropriating $500,000 for public safety technology and vehicle replacement in the 2008 and 9 budget and authorizing the issuance of $500,000 bonds and bond anticipation notes of the city to meet said appropriations.
Pleasure, council. Councilman Sammy.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to refer item number 5 to a public hearing.
Seeing no objection, is so ordered. Madam Clerk, item 6, please.
Ordinance, an ordinance appropriating $500,000 for phosphorus study for the wastewater treatment plant in the 2008-2009 budget and authorizing the issuance of $500,000 bonds and bond anticipation notes of the city to meet said appropriations.
Seeing no, it's pleasure, council. Councilman Bishop.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to refer item number 6 to a public hearing.
Seeing no objection, is so ordered. Madam Clerk, item 7, please.
Ordinance, the fire department, section 19-4, 19-33, and section 19-1962.
Pleasure, Councilman Knapp.
Yes, Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to refer item 7 to a public hearing.
Seeing no objection, is so ordered. Madam Clerk, item 8, please.
Resolution, downtown special services district.
Pleasure, council. Mr. Calvin.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I'd like to make a motion that we receive the communication and approve the resolution levying the property tax for the downtown Danbury Special Service District for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2008 and ending June 30th, 2009.
Second. Motion been made, seconded by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion on your item 8? Seeing none, then I'll try your minds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, signify by saying nay. Ayes have it, motion carries unanimously. Madam Clerk, item 9, please.
Ad hoc report, Sun Trust lease agreement.
Mr. President.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion that we waive the reading of the minutes, as all members have copies, and copies are on file in the city clerk's office.
Motion made and seconded by Mr. Johnson. Any opposition to waiving the reading of the report? Seeing none, then I'll try your minds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, signify by saying nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. At this time, we'll entertain a motion to adopt the recommendation of the report. Madam Clerk.
Ad hoc report, Sun Trust lease agreement.
With pleasure. Mr. Seaver.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to move to receive the report and adopt the ordinance, please.
Second. Motion made, seconded by
Resolution, I beg your pardon.
Motion made, seconded by Councilman Sammy. Any discussion under this item?
Thank you, Your Honor. Is there anyone from the Board of Ed that can help me answer a couple of questions?
There is. Mr. Long was here from the Board of Ed. If you have any questions you might have.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members.
Go ahead, Mr. President.
To the Chair, does the Board of Ed have their own IT department?
The Board of Ed does, yes.
Was the city's IT director consulted and involved in this agreement?
The disagreement, Mr. Anderson was not consulted, no.
So a lot of your recommendations came from the consultants and engineers who you are going into an agreement with?
Not with the agreement, no. We hired private consultants that have no affiliation whatsoever ties to the CDWG on who's the preferred vendor.
I also noticed, through the chair, that one of your merchants was CDW Corporate. They do a lot of hardware, a lot of software, also 3Com, switches, routers, some telephony. What exactly does this entail, this agreement? Because I really wasn't able to
Perhaps as you said tonight, perhaps Mr. Lyon wants to just give a little bit of overview of the work that's going to be done. Is that pretty good on this part?
Yes.
Just kind of sense of what's going on.
Certainly. For some background, the Board of Education has secured the services of independent consultants to come in and provide an assessment of the current infrastructure topology. We've been experiencing over the past 12 to 18 months severe limitations, crashes of our computer network. Primarily, the majority of problems or issues are with the Danbury High School servers. The Board of Education, as recent as last fiscal year, made an investment in technology replacement, approximately $300,000 to $400,000 in our servers. What is before the council this evening is the board's plan to replace the switches. The switches basically are the traffic lights that control the signals and route all of the pathways for our communication. We initially looked at two locations, Danbury High School and the Beaverbrook Administrative Center. The proposal on a Cisco brand product came in at approximately $1.2 million. It is quite obvious that the Board of Education and perhaps speaking on behalf of Danbury, the City of Danbury, $1.2 million is far out of reach for us. We then looked at a 3Com product, which is a comparable product. We have a blend today, a mix of both Cisco and 3Com. We negotiated a 3Com package of approximately $650,000. That was to address the two locations that I identified. Through further additional negotiations, we were able to adopt a district-wide, all of our schools, including Beaverbrook Administrative Center, at a price tag of $499,000. Put it into further perspective, the $499,000 is approximately another 15% below the average state contract bid. At state contract, we were looking at approximately $600,000. We've secured a bid of $499,000.
Mr. Chair. Does that price include telephony or just routers to speed internet access?
Routers and switches.
Mr. Chair. Would it also include computer systems at the central office? Or just for...
Just switches. It's a full replacement of switches. Before the council this evening, there's an appropriation to address the actual hardware of the computers at Danbury High School. It's part of the lot.
Just to kind of dovetail on that, we just thought you got to get the infrastructure in place first, prepare that, and we needed to get going this summer in order to be up and running for the fall. So that's kind of the thing, just so you.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Ula, very briefly, could we have a brief description of SunTrust, what their background is? Or just...
The SunTrust Leasing Finance Corporation is not a new entity or concern to the City of Danbury. The City of Danbury most recently entered into a communication lease finance agreement. So it's my understanding that the City of Danbury has worked with SunTrust in the past. This will be the first venture for the Board of Education.
Mr. Janey, I'm working my way around this.
Thank you, Your Honor. Through the chair. You mentioned the SunTrust. This is a financing lease or an operating lease?
This here is a financing lease. It affords us a 4-year term, 48 months, with a dollar buyout at the very end.
Mr. Riley.
Thank you, Your Honor. Through the chair, Director of Finance, Board of Ed. Thank you. Elio, as I understand it, from what I have just heard and what I read too, that the main routers or switches will be at the Danbury High School and Beaver Brook.
Will be district-wide at this time.
Yes, and what about the other schools? Let's take the Alternative Center for Education. I know that I think they have a switching system there too. Is that correct?
I don't know.
You're not sure of that?
I can't speak to the center. However, the 499 price tag is to address a full replacement of all switches district-wide and all
district-wide. Okay.
District-wide.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Other questions, Mr. Rotella?
Thanks, Your Honor. Through the chair to Mr. Longo. This 4-year equipment lease for $499, is that $499 for all 4 years, or are we talking about $499 a year?
No, it is $499, $500 is the entire finance. Yeah.
Through the course of the 4 years?
Correct.
With an optional buyout at the end?
Dollar buyout, yes.
A dollar buyout?
Dollar buyout.
Okay, one final question. Is there an estimated life?
Sorry about that. Is there an estimated lifespan for the equipment? It says here that the old stuff is 15 years old. Can we get 15 years out of this?
I'm not sure if we can really push it for 15 years, but it's safe to that there's a 7 to 8 year cycle.
Thank you.
We better get 15 years, Mr. Levy.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
First of all, I'd like to thank you, indeed, committee, to enlighten us. I don't know whether it was, I have to assume it was not by design that I received the boilerplate contract without the first 6 pages, which had nuts and bolts of the lease itself. And after I read it, I could see the need. The system has grown. It's overloaded. And certainly we needed to manage, if nothing else, our school system is a key component. I was also enlightened about the interest rate, which is something that's somewhat uncommon in this type of lease, and it's the swap, which is usually related to a hedge market, which has a variable in it, and even at the high and the low end, I guess the delay in time for the committee amounted to about a $300 cost, so I didn't feel guilty I was penalizing anybody by that delay. But I did have a question as far as, in that this is a lease, it's a capital lease, it's a buyout at the end of the lease. Does that have to be charged against this budget because it is a capital lease?
No, it does not. We negotiated the first payment to hit next fiscal year with a deferral for 3 months. First payment or repayment is due September 30th.
So even though we'll receive the equipment, it will not be charged as an asset or a liability?
Correct.
I'm not sure they'll even be able to begin work until probably end of June. And you may have an overlap of about a week there. Mr. Seabury.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not going to turn that on. First, I have a couple of comments. I'd like to congratulate you, Leo, and Dr. Sal for negotiating this price. The next time I try to go out and buy a car, I'd like to have you guys come along. Secondly, when word got out at the high school that this thing has come to pass, those folks are absolutely thrilled and ask me to convey their thanks to the gentleman's job.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, then I'll try your minds. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, signify by saying nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. Seeing that there is no other, there's no other items on the agenda, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Made by Mr. Chiesi, seconded by Mr. Arconti. Any discussion about adjournment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, signify by saying nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously.